You want to comment on what the lining of the hair follicle is? What are the cells?
Is it the I'm not sure, doctor. I only wrote
I think it was
spindle
the
shape.
previous. I think it's the previous slide, the one before this. Yeah. So basically, you've got the diagram where the hair is seen within the hair follicle, isn't it? But obviously, it's surrounded by cells, right? So what cells do you think those are?
Epithelial cell?
It's in the description. Those are basically, again, epidermal keratinocytes, isn't it? It's there in your description. The cells of the hair follicle are basically epidermal keratinocytes and also contain melanocytes as well, isn't it? As you said, it's an epidermal appendage, so it follows the same structure.
It's part of epidermal.
That's right. It follows the same structure as the epidermis, although it's situated, in the deep dermis or even further, right? But the structure is exactly as for the epidermis. Yeah? It's just that it also contains these matrix cells which generate the hair, isn't it? So that's the additional point. Otherwise, the whole lining epithelium is basically the same as the epidermis. Yes? Okay. Any other question about dermis?
Sorry, doctor.
No. Okay. Thank you, sister. That was yes. Question?
Can you please explain again about...
Someone has a question? No. Okay. So if there's no questions, thank you, sister. That was well done. And we'll move on to our third presenter.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Today I'm going to present the function of the skin. Next. Lecture note on the dermatology book stated that skin is like wax paper that holds everything in without dripping. I think I don't have to explain this to you guys. So there are 7 functions of the skin stated in the book. Next. First is to prevent the loss of the essential body fluid. Stratum corneum is important structure to keep the body fluid in. The stratum corneum have overlapping cells and intercellular lipid. This structure blocks the diffusion of water into the external environment. It is removed by if the stratum corneum is removed by stripping with tape, water loss to the environment, external environment, will increase tenfold. Okay, next. Second, the structure of the stratum corneum is also effective against entry of toxic environmental chemicals and microorganisms. They also have a moving staircase effect. moving staircase effect is defined as a continuous shedding of the outer corneocyte. This relative impermeability of stratum corneum and moving staircase effect provide a passive barrier to infective organism. However, this barrier capacity is reduced if the stratum corneum is hydrated or its lipid content is reduced by the use of lipid solvent. Okay. Next. Third, skin also provide immunological function. As we know, skin have Langerhans cells. Langerhans cell is a dendritic cell, also a modified macrophage. Okay, these cells are the first line of immunological defense against environmental antigens. They are responsible for uptake of the antigen and present to the immunocompetent lymphocytes so that an immune response can be activated. And also, keratinocyte also prepare external antigen for T lymphocyte, which help in activation of immune response. Keratinocyte also provide chemokine, the attracts cell of the immune system to the skin and help and large number of cytokine that can attract and guide an immune response. The next. Skin have melanocyte that can give protection against UV radiation. As we know, the main stimulus to melanin is UV radiation. So in white people, the melanosomes are bound together that we call as membrane bound. So this melanosome complex gradually degenerate as the keratinocyte moves toward to the surface of the skin. However, in black people, the skin have same content, the skin contain the same number of the melanocyte as of white people, but the melanosome are larger, remain separate, and persist through the full thickness of the epidermis. So as we know just now, the melanin protect the cell nuclei in epidermis from harmful UV radiation. Thus, skin neoplasia is uncommon in dark skin race. Okay, next. Skin also have in the regulation of body temperature. In hot environment, the blood vessel the skin blood vessel will vasodilate. This will increase the skin blood flow and loss of heat to the environment. Perspiration also occur to help cool down the body by evaporation of sweat. Okay, the erector pili muscle is relaxed so that the hair shaft lies on the skin surface. However, in contrast, in cold environment, there is vasoconstriction of the skin blood vessel, and it will have a marked reduction in blood flow. Thus, this will keep the heat in our body and decrease the heat transfer to the external environment. And then the erector pili muscle also will contract, causing the hair shaft to stand on its end. This will help to trap heat, air between the hair shaft. Okay, next. In skin, it regulates the synthesis of vitamin D. So we know in skin, they have 7-dehydrocholesterol, and then it is converted by UV light to cholecalciferol. And the vitamin become active after 25-hydroxy vitamin D, which is synthesis in the liver, being converted in the kidney into the 1,25-dehydroxy vitamin D2. So in those where diets are deficit in vitamin D, this extra source of vitamin can be quite important. Okay. Next. Last but not least, having a good skin